The plan with the plumbing is the main water inlet is over here. It's the blue pipe coming out of the ground. So that's where the stopcock for the whole barn's going to be. So from that, I'm then going to run a 22mm pipe, so the slightly thicker plastic pipe, all the way along here and all the way along here. Then I'm going to tee off for the cold water for the kitchenette. I'm going to tee off for the toilet, and then tee off for the sink, and tee off for the shower. And you can get reducers that make this very, very easy. Gone down to Toolstation and I bought all manner of things. So a tee off like this, which goes from 22 down to 15. Obviously, the main thing is that the boiler gets as much pressure as possible, which is why I'm going for cold water on 22mm pipe, just to keep that pressure and flow up. So once we get to the boiler, and then I'm going to have another pipe, the hot water pipe, which is going to run from the boiler back. It's going to tee off for the shower, tee off for the sink, then back around here, and we've got that, the hole at the top is going to feed the hot water back down to the sink in the kitchenette as well, and that's where that's going to terminate. And that is all of the plumbing, except of course for the shower, because the shower, I'm going to run that through the ceiling and down, or through the stud wall, sorry, and then down to the shower. So that's it. Let's put the pipes in. So some of the studs are up, and I've just realised that I'm going to have to put some pipe work in before obviously insulating. So what I've done is I've just set up a laser level down there, and then I'm just going along and marking on each of the studs that I've put in so far the level at which I'm going to need to drill through for the pipe work. So I used a red pen for the hot pipe. I'm just going to use a pencil for the coal, just to make it very simple. I'm actually going to be running 22mm pipe for the cold, and then 15mm for the hot. So I'll be drilling two different sides hole, but just to make it ever so slightly easier, I use colour coding. So I'm just insulating the pipes that I've installed. So I've got the hot water on the top and the cold water on the bottom. And I've got this Rubaflex stuff from Toolstation. I've used it on an external application there outside, and it's really it's far better than the economy stuff. And it's got these adhesive strips on it, which means once they're on, you rip those off and it sticks together nice and tight. It's not going to go anywhere then. So I'm installing it in between the studs for the hot and cold. I'm not going to do the joints just yet because I want to test those just to make sure there are no leaks, but I'm going to insulate it. It also forms, because it's so nice and tight, I'm effectively treating this as an external wall. So these are external, as I said earlier on, can be used externally. So, and it also forms a nice bit of insulation for the room. So yeah, just cracking on with that at the moment. So the other thing I've done is I've tested for leaks before putting any of the lagging on. I tested in the hot water pipe by simply connecting a hose up to this, and then tested for leaks all the way along. Down in the corner there, there's a corner point along, tested it all. So all good. I'm waiting for another part to test the 22mm, but should be okay. Behind me is the wall, the structural wall that holds up the mezzanine above, and through this wall needs to go the flue for the boiler, also needs to be the extractor fan, and also the inlet for the gas as well. So we're going to have two gas bottles on the back there, so obviously there's 3 holes to drill. I've decided not to do that particular job myself. The walls in the barn are about this thick, and you need a very special drilling machine, with a coring bit like that, because obviously the extractor fan's going to be 4-inch, and then the flue's going to be 4-inch as well, and then obviously the gas is going to be slightly smaller. But having tried to on the existing cottage before when I was installing the ensuite, it's just better to get someone else who knows what they're doing with the right equipment to do it. The other benefit of getting someone in to do it is Erwin, the chap that's going to come and do this for me, he has a machine. You put a sensor on one side and a reader on the other side of the wall, and then it tells you exactly where that hole is going to end up on the other side of the wall, which is obviously super important. And so there's no guesswork as to where that's going to come out. Yes, you could drill a pilot hole all the way through, but we're talking really serious, thick stone walls here. So he's got this thing, he's going to line it up to ensure that it's in the right place. Dan the plumber's going to come, he's going to say, right, the full flue hole needs to be here, the extractor fan's going to go over there, the gas hole's going to be there, and then Erwin is going to drill those holes. So looking forward to it, but not looking forward to having 3 holes in the side of the barn, but hey ho, hopefully not for very long. So here's the boiler is going to go just here, just above the manifold for the underfloor heating. Then thinking the extractor fan is going to go there, about that height, and then obviously there's going to be a gas inlet pipe for the boiler itself.
Let the drilling commence. What I stupidly hadn't anticipated was the amount of water that was about to burst through into the barn. I anxiously looked on as more and more water came through the wall. Surely it would finish soon. Here's the moment it broke through, with yet more water. For the second hole, I bodged up some sort of water slide. Typically, there was far less mess on this one, so my efforts were in vain.
The 2 holes in the tiny barn are now drilled. So that is for the extractor fan. I've put just a little soil pipe in there just for now, before I put the vent pipe in. And here's the other 4-incher. Straight through there. It's very cool. Check this out. Actually just cored it out from solid rock. That is very cool. Then here are the other 2 holes, slightly smaller. Obviously got the 22mm pipe in there just to protect. So one's for the gas and the other one's for the condensate from the boiler, which is just going to go straight up there. And this one for the flue. So I subcontracted the drilling of the holes out. I definitely could have done the smaller ones, but the bigger ones, the 4 inches, I got a local guy who's got the drill, and it's a massive drill, and it would have taken me hours to do it on my own. Plus I would have had to hire the drill itself and pay for the wear on the bit itself. So all in all, it was an absolute bargain. He came across, he clamped the drill onto the side of the outside. We figured out exactly where the holes were going to go with some sort of laser sensor. So I held it on the inside, he put it on the outside. We took 3 readings. And then he then decided on where that is going to come through, because obviously a wall of this thickness, so 600mm, something like that, there's going to be a chance that wherever you start the opposite side, it won't end up on the inside where you want it to be. So we clamped this massive drill on the side, and then very slowly, very calmly, just drilled on through, and it drilled out on the outside a core. A 4-inch core, and on the inside a core as well, and in the middle it's just rubble on the inside of the walls anyway. So really glad I got someone who knew what they were doing. Midway through drilling the second hole, we realised the wall was actually moving with the reverberation, so that would have scared the living hell out of me if I'd have done that on my own, but he knows what he's doing. he was confident he'd be able to get through, and it just gave me a lot more confidence knowing that someone who knows what they're doing is doing a job like that, and it's job done. So here is hole number 1, the outside. So that's for the flue for the boiler. As you can see, it's carved halfway into this one, halfway into that one. Really cool. Wow. And down here we've got the 2, so one for the condensate and one for the gas going in. I had to sort of a little bit of touching up here because quite a few of these rocks came out. And then here's the 4th hole. So this is the vent for the extractor fan. Again, very, very cool. Look at that. So yeah, I'm going to put a vent pipe in here, so 100mm pipe, 100mm pipe over there. Put some expanding foam around it, and yeah, and we're good to go for the boiler install. So later on this week, I'm having the boiler installed. So that's why I've got the flue hole here, the ventilation over there, and the couple of pipes, one for the gas and one for the condensate. So I'm building a pad here because here 2 gas bottles, 47 kilo gas bottles are going to stand. So I'm just building a stable base for them to sit on. I've made a basic form here. It's about 120 long. It comes out about 45, and then I'm going to put some slabs on. It'll slightly overhang because I've got a French drain here, though it looks more like a mud pit currently. The seriously big news on the tiny barn conversion is we have a boiler, which means the underfloor heating's on. Just a few months ago, that was a mud pit, and now it's warm. It's almost too warm to be in here. Oh my goodness me, this is huge.
If you've enjoyed this video, please like it and make sure you subscribe to the channel to get notified when the next video goes live. Thanks for watching.